Okay, Mishnah Ches. Matzah igaro shum. So if you found documents of legal assessment, right? So you're assessing the value of a property based and decided the value of the property is is X for the purpose of securing a loan. If the loan default on the loans, you can collect from the property, but you have to know how much, is the property even worth the amount of the loan. You got to know what you got, so that you have such documents. You found them among your paper. You found them not among your papers. You found them on the street or whatever. You found them. Vigaros mazon, or you found documents of alimony, right, of food that we were requiring a man to pay. A man has either agreed to pay for his wife's child from another man, agreed to pay for her upkeep. It's not his child, but he married this woman, so he made an agreement. Or it's talking about real alimony payments to a woman that he's divorcing, or he's divorced, or he's keeping for her upkeep. Shtare chalitza umiyunin, or if you found documents saying that chalitza was done, that the chalitza ceremony was done between a woman and her brother-in-law when she didn't have any children with her husband, he died. Or miyun. Miyun is a case of refusal. You have a girl who's married off by her mother, or her father is dead, married off by her mother or brothers to some man before she reaches the age of 12. So she could say, nah, I'm not interested. She can refuse this marriage, and she doesn't need a get. She just has to make a document of refusal, and she's released. Ushtari veirin, or if you have documents basically saying, which rabbis are going to be a member of a beis din. So this one side, one litigant chooses one, and the other litigant chooses another, and then the two rabbis get together and they choose somebody. So you have documents, in that situation that it's agreed to in such a case. V'chol ma'aseh beis din, if you have documents in any case of beis din, harizeh yachzir, you return them. As opposed to before, we had documents, we're not sure who it should go to, who, was this given or not given. In this case, since it was done, settled, sealed, delivered, we assume that it got lost, but these things were done, and therefore they need to be returned to the people whose hands they should belong in. In regards to the beginning, it calls them igaros, letters of evaluation, or letters of mazon instead of shtare, instead of documents. According to some, that means it was sent from one beis din to another. Oh, this was the agreement that they came to in such and such a place, and now in the new place, you should know that this is the arrangement. Okay. Matzah b'chafisa o b'deluskama. You found it in a satchel or in a case, a bunch of documents. Tachra shalstaros or aguda shalstaros, or if you found a roll of documents or a batch of documents tied together, harizeh yachzir. You return them. They all obviously belong to what a person had them, and all together. So clearly they should be returned. But yes, if they're all tied together, then obviously these ones you're finding them individually, you return them. So obviously here it's talking about even documents that would not normally return, but they're in a bunch, and they're in together. V'chama aguda shel shtaros. How much is a tied up amount of documents? How many documents? What's the shear? Shlosha kshurim zeh b'zeh. If you have 3 that are tied one to another, okay, so then that's enough. Rishimim Gamliel omer echad alova mishlosha yachzil alova. So if you find 3 that have the borrower's name on it, so you return that to the borrower, because obviously he had. Why would anybody else have 3 documents that have the borrower's name on it? Say, I borrowed from who, and I borrowed. Why would anybody have those 3 documents? Shlosha halovim echad yachzir lamalve. If you have 3 that are saying 3 people owe money to so and so, well, to Ruvain, so it must be that Ruvain lost these documents together, and therefore you return them to him. The Gemara points out that what it's talking about here is a case where they're all written in different handwriting. If they're all in the same handwriting, then we could possibly, the situation could be that it was the sofer who lost them, right? The sofer was writing these 3 documents for somebody, or 3. So the scribe was the one who ended up losing them, and none of them were valid yet at all. So that in such a situation, you have to be concerned for that. But this is assuming that they are in different handwriting. Okay, matzah shtar bein shtaros. So if you find a document among your documents, veinu yodea mativo, you don't know what the deal is with it. Was this collected? Not collected? I can't remember. I don't know. This is, it says so and so owes me $500 or whatever. I don't know what the deal is. So you have to wait until Eliyahu Hanavi comes to come and tell you. I mean, you don't know. You can't make an assumption one way or another. You're not sure, so you got to wait. However, im yesh iman simponos, if there are notes with them, if there are receipts that are written with the document, you don't remember now, but you see there's a receipt. Oh, it was collected, or oh, I still owe the money, or whatever it is. So yasa masher simponos. So you have to do what it says in the notes. The notes are, we assume that if the notes are written with them, that it's a good assumption. The Gemara goes on to explain this a little farther, and says that you find this document with the notes between other documents which are torn up. Right? That's what you do with the document. Once it's collected, it's done, it's whatever, right? You rip it. So then you have it, and it's ripped. It's clear that the document is done. So this one's not ripped, but it's got the notes on it, and it's among other documents which are ripped up. Then you can assume that it's just you forgot to do the ripping, but really this document is done, and whatever was written was written. If you find it among other documents, open documents, then that's not necessarily true. It could be that the notes are something you intended to do but didn't actually happen yet.